Good morning again, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our monthly Funded Fast Chats. I'm Rochelle Thomas, Energy Manager with the San Joaquin Valley Clean Energy Organization, or the SJVCEO. This is our 11th installment of the Funded Fast Chat, so we've been going at it for just about a year now. Please continue to look out for us every second Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. as we bring you valuable financing and project information. So a little bit of housekeeping here. Please note your microphones have all been muted upon joining the call. If you have any questions, please submit them using your chat box at any time during the presentation. We designate a little bit of time at the end of the call to address all questions. If for any reason we aren't able to answer your question during that time, please look out for our follow-up email. We will address any unanswered questions as well as provide you with a link to the recording of this presentation. This month, we focus on clean vehicle rebates. So the state of California's climate goals has us scrambling to electrify our fleet vehicles. There are some pretty amazing resources out there to assist with the cost. I am very excited to have someone here to discuss some of those resources. Please welcome Sergio Morales, Project Coordinator with the Center for Sustainable Energy, to discuss programs for fleet vehicles. Go ahead and take it away, Sergio.
Awesome. Thank you for that intro. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this meeting. So I'm going to get started. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Clean Vehicle Rebate Project, I just wanted to give a quick overview. The Clean Vehicle Rebate Project, or CVRP, promotes clean vehicle adoption in California by offering rebates of up to $7,000 for the purchase or lease of new eligible zero-emission vehicles, including electric, plug-in hybrid electric, and fuel cell vehicles. The Center for Sustainable Energy, also known as CSE, administers CVRP through the State for the California Air Resource Board, or CARB. CARB is a part of the California Environmental Protection Agency and exists to promote and protect public health, welfare, and ecological resources through the effective and efficient reduction of air pollutants while recognizing and considering the effects on the economy of the state. CVRP funding is determined by an annual funding plan that is developed with public input and approved by CARB. Okay, so fleet electrification is still a relatively new idea, but it promises to be a model that can be replicated by agencies and private consumers alike. The first step of electrification is always the hardest, and CSC would like to help you overcome those first barriers. So at the bottom of this slide is a link to the CVRP Fleet website where you can find more information on the rebate we offer and also apply for the rebate as well. Each city has a climate action plan or is developing a climate action plan. What we've seen is that most cities include a fleet electrification portion of the plan. And this is where we come in and would love to help you meet some of these goals. Now, our organization only offers rebates of up to $7,000 for light-duty vehicles such as sedans, SUVs, etc. However, for heavy-duty vehicles, the California Hybrid and Zero Emissions Truck and Bus Voucher Incentive or Project, or just HVIP, offers vouchers that range from $8,000 to $120,000. Now, there are 4 types of clean fuel vehicles that CVRP provides rebates for. Those are plug-in hybrids, full battery electric vehicles, fuel cell electric vehicles, and even zero-emission motorcycles. However, not all vehicles or model years or even plug-ins are eligible for the rebate. Be sure to check the CVRP website for a list of eligible vehicles, which also include the model year. As far as the rebate amount goes, public fleets are eligible for the standard rebate or the increased rebate amount. The increased amount will depend on the location of your fleet. So if it's located within a disadvantaged community area, then your fleet qualifies for the increased rebate amount, which is just an extra $2,000 tacked on to that standard amount. CVRP uses the Cal EPA Cal EnviroScreen 3.0 tool to determine increased rebate eligibility. You can check to see if your fleet qualifies by entering the vehicle domicile address into the Cal EnviroScreen 3.0 tool, which is also found on the CVRP fleet website. If your address shows up in the area, then boom, you qualify for that increased incentive. Now, public agencies are eligible for up to 30 rebates annually. And public agencies include local, state, and tribal government entities. And some examples include city fleets, school districts, public universities, and public authorities. Now, some common questions that we receive here is, how do I reserve the rebate? And when can I apply for the rebate? So fleet rebates are unique in that fleet managers can apply and reserve the funds up to 18 months in advance. Once a fleet manager is approved, then the money is set aside for you and it won't be returned to the pool of funds unless you go beyond your 18 months and still have not acquired your EVs. If you have already purchased your vehicles though, you can apply up to 18 months after delivery. I will state that before you apply, and I really stress this, is that you please go to our website to ensure the vehicles you purchase are on our list of vehicles. And it's because we've had fleet managers who thought that the vehicle would qualify and applied and come to find out that they didn't even qualify for the rebate. So please go to our website to check our list of eligible vehicles. Now, in order to apply for the rebate, you just have to go to cleanvehiclerebate.org/fleet/eligibility. Once you have submitted your application, one of our rebate processing specialists will review your application and send you a list of supporting documentations that you would need to provide us. You will then email that supporting documentation to publicfleets@energycenter.org. After all supporting documents are turned in, a check will then be mailed to you within 90 calendar days of application approval. Now, it says contingent upon availability of funds, but as I stated earlier, if your application has been approved, then the money has already been set aside for you. For any questions on this process, please email the Fleets Processing Specialist at the publicfleets@energycenter.org, myself, or you can go on our website and review the implementation manual. There are, of course, requirements that need to be met on your part. And the first is retaining ownership of the vehicle for a minimum of 30 months. During this time, you will submit your annual vehicle usage data at the 12, 24, and 30-month mark. The data you will submit will include, but is also not limited to, mileage reporting and percentage of operation within disadvantaged communities. So how much you're operating within disadvantaged communities. Lastly, if there's a change of where the vehicle is going to be housed or the address, we just ask that you notify us as soon as possible. So what is success? So you have procured your vehicles, received the rebate, and are submitting your usage data. What does that mean? Well, it sounds like you have successfully electrified your fleet, or at least a portion of it. Now, the number of electric vehicles in your fleet versus combustion engine vehicles is in fact a very big success because we're trying to meet those climate action plans. Success, however, can also be measured in many other ways. After all, we're trying to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And one way to do that is to decrease the amount of internal combustion engines on the road and replacing them with EVs. Another metric used to measure success is utilization of assets. As many of you already know, EVs may be pricey up front, but the car pays for itself in the long run due to no oil changes and little maintenance costs. Now, of course, we couldn't talk about all the good things to come when electrifying your fleet without discussing some of the lower points or some of the pain points that a lot of fleet managers experience. Now, the first issue most fleet managers face initially is brick vehicles. This just simply means that charging infrastructure was not considered before procuring the new electric vehicles. What happens is that vehicles end up sitting on a lot, uncharged, unused, and ultimately become more of a nuisance than a solution. The next is way too many vehicles. This leads to low utilization or can contribute to the brick vehicle dilemma. Now, a lot of fleet managers get really excited about the rebate and end up purchasing or asking for 30 rebates. That gets them 30 vehicles. So do you really actually need 30 electric vehicles when at most you might be using 15? So it's just something to ponder. Next is driver behavior. So if your staff is not trained properly, they may use the vehicles incorrectly, forget to charge them, rely on only the gas portion if it's a hybrid vehicle, or just a whole host of many other problems. So this is why a new training curriculum is essential in preventing bad driver behavior. And finally, we see problems scaling up. This can include load management, integrating the new vehicles into your guys' already established billing system, or even staffing issues. So what can you do to anticipate and correct these issues before they become a problem? Now, first things first, and it should also kind of go unsaid, is preparation. Preparation is crucial and will determine the success of your electrification. As with any new addition to your organization, you want to see how the new vehicles are performing. So to do that, you might want to start by establishing key performance indicators or KPIs. And you would just about guarantee a successful conversion of your fleets once these KPIs are established. Along with that, you want to train your analysts to visualize the data. That way you can track changes over time. If there's a bigger indicator of how your fleet is doing is by tracking these changes. You can see where you started, where you're at, and where you could possibly be going. Next is training, not just proper driver behavior, but training your staff to track your KPIs you just established. Also training your analysts to visualize the data so you can track changes. Oh, sorry. And the final step is management. The level of oversight needed during the beginning stages of fleet electrification are crucial when adopting new practices. And with that, I leave you with one of the tactics adopted by one of the most successful EV fleets out there. East Orange County Water District is number one when it comes to electric vehicle miles traveled, with over 11,000 electric vehicle miles traveled in 1 year. One of the many tactics they employed to accomplish this is by, for instance, scheduling meetings at locations that have charges for their vehicles. They also do things as scheduling the meetings in the shorter distance, a lot closer to their headquarters. So it's simple steps like this that will help guarantee the success of your new EV fleet. So, I hope that my presentation has inspired you to consider converting your fleet to hybrid or all electric vehicles. And with that, I turn it back over to Rochelle.
Thank you so much, Sergio, for the presentation. This is all really awesome information. I would like to add on to that. Here's some contact information here. If anybody would like to connect with Sergio, I'm more than happy to help you connect with him if you aren't able to get all of this information down in time. But what you might be thinking also is this is all great information about converting your fleet to electric, but how are you going to charge all of these vehicles? I just want to take a quick second to highlight some programs that are in place that will assist you in funding everything, all of the infrastructure to get those vehicles charged once you've acquired them or just before you've acquired them. So I just want to highlight the PG&E EV Charge Network and Southern California Edison Charge Ready program. Those programs are both designed to address all the vehicle charging infrastructure, as well as recommended charging station vendors. The next thing I want to point out is Southern California Edison will be kicking off their Charge Ready Transport program. So this program focuses on medium and heavy duty electric vehicles. They will be hosting a webinar on this next Monday, May 20th. Our representatives over at Edison are working on getting the webinar and time information for us. So as soon as we have it, we'll communicate that information out to you. And then last but certainly not least, the Center for Sustainable Energy will be hosting or is hosting a 6-hour webinar series called Do's and Don'ts for Infrastructure and Charging. So this webinar series is geared toward fleet managers and covers best practices, do's and don'ts, and organizations with products that will help mitigate infrastructure, data, or even training issues. So I know I've thrown a ton of information at you. Don't panic if you're not able to get it all down during the call. We will include this information as well as links to all of those websites in our follow-up email after today's call. All right, and lastly, thank you again so much for being with us this morning. I hope this information was helpful for you. I encourage everybody listening, please share the fast chat with anyone you think may benefit from this information. The more, the merrier for this call. We would love for everyone to be to participate and join. You can reach out to the SJVCEO on social media, through email, or on our websites to see how we can serve you. Our purpose is to connect you with resources that will help you get your projects done. Lastly, if you would like to listen to any of our previous fast chats, you can find them at sjvcleanenergy.org. I'll repeat that. That's sjvcleanenergy.org under the resources heading. I don't see that we have any questions from our audience today, so I will go ahead and close out the call. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great week. Look out for our follow-up email with all of the links and a link to a recording of this call, just in case anybody was unable to attend this morning. So thank you again, and have an awesome week, everyone.